And today we're going to talk about math drawing and using value to explore math drawing. So what I mean when I say math drawing is you can just think of it as drawing without outline. So we're going to try and lose the concept of outlining and start to focus on big shapes. And how we're going to focus on big shapes is by looking at the shape based on its value, meaning how light or dark is it on a grayscale. Sorry, just a second. I'm going to make sure and mute. Okay. So I'm going to show you a few examples of some really nice drawings that I think are beautiful drawings that haven't used line at all. And then we're going to do our own experiments in making drawings without using lines. So first of all, I think a good question to answer is why would we even draw without lines? One thing is this type of drawing or this approach can actually help us see in a different way, but also can help us start to see proportions and objects in relationship to each other in a much quicker, easier way. It's like you start to see the world in a sort of flat, abstract way. And drawings can then become a little bit more almost about putting puzzle pieces together. So it really forces you to look and see in a new way. And some people really like this method of drawing and relate to it and feel like it's easier than lines. And some people don't. So I'd say we'll just try it and see what happens. These kinds of drawings also create a really different effect or mood from line drawings. They can be really soft and gentle, and they can have a sort of mysterious feel or mood to them sometimes, which, you know, for a lot of kinds of drawings, especially landscape drawings or even figure drawings, can be really beautiful, especially when we have a play of light and shadow. So I'm going to share a few of my favorite drawings on my screen here with you. This is a drawing, a math drawing done in pencil. It's really fuzzy. I guess I have a low resolution of this image. But this is a series of boxes and spheres, cylinders, right, with a very clear source of light, right? The light is coming from the left. And even though they've used lines, this artist has focused on the big shapes and the planes, right? Now, this is Seurat, who did loads of these beautiful drawings in charcoal. So this is something we could all strive for in our drawing. So you see how this starts to look at light and dark as shapes, right? And so the light here is really defined by the edge of where it meets the dark, right? So where light and dark meet and the highest point of contrast is always what really attracts our eye. And here's a third drawing that I think is so beautiful. So this was done on probably a toned piece of paper, meaning not white, but yellow or brown, light brown. So it even gives the feel of like a warm, glowing light. And right, these kinds of drawings create a really specific mood. So we're not going to be creating these very elaborate drawings. We're going to be doing exercises to get ourselves to think in this way. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to work from images again. I've taken some photographs of things that I think are really straightforward. And like the last time, if you weren't at the last class, that's fine. We're going to just work with 3 values. So the white of our paper, which is our lightest light, and a middle value, which is like a light gray, and then a dark. So you want to use a pencil for this, and you want to use a soft pencil. So what I mean by soft pencil is anything with a B, HB, B, 2B, all the way. I have a 9B. I love using soft pencils. They really give sort of these luscious, soft and dark marks. So any kind of pencil that's soft-ish, whatever you have is fine. Also, if you have an eraser, you may want to use it today. If you've been on a sketching tour with me, you know that we never use erasers. But erasers can actually be helpful in these kinds of drawings because you can go back and erase where you want the light to come through. So what you want to do is try and use the side of the pencil. We've talked about this before, but when you use the side of the pencil, you want to try holding your pencil instead of holding it like this, like writing, or this is more controlled from your wrist, like for detail or very more precise marks. Try holding your pencil instead. I lay it across my palm like this, and then you can put, if you have a long enough pencil, you can hold just the end in your palm and turn it sideways. So I'll show you how I use it. So I hold my pencil like this. You can see I'm sort of leaning my hand. And I don't use the tip. Instead, I just lay the flat side of the pencil down. Now, if you go over lightly, you'll get a light gray. And then you can always go back over for a second time and get a dark, lush, rich, dark on top. So let me see if I've written down my instructions. Let's see. So we're going to first draw a white object with a dark background. So we're not going to use any lines in this drawing. Now, try not to use any lines, not even outlining. Try and look at blocks of light and dark as just shapes, right? So our drawings aren't going to be precise. So just try to not outline. That means you're going to have to leave the white of the paper, or you can always go back and erase it out. So no outlines, erase if necessary, and only use 3 values. Light of your paper as the lightest light, a middle gray, and then a darker, rich dark. So another thing about this is sometimes we have more than 3 values at the thing that we're looking at to draw. So you have to make a decision about, where, if you can only use 3 values, sometimes things might fall in the light category, they might fall in the gray category, or they might fall in the dark category, and you'll have to lump things together. Meaning, if I have an object in the background, but I decide that they're the same value, there's no line between them. They all run into one shape. So this becomes a little bit of an exercise in making abstract shapes as well. And don't worry if you feel like you're not going to understand what this is when you look at it. That's not the point of this exercise. And the only last piece of advice I have is before you go to draw, stop and squint your eyes and look through your eyelashes at the thing that you're going to draw. And when you do that, analyze in your mind, where is the lightest light, where is the darkest dark, and then everything else is going to be your light gray in between. So we're just going to try this. No outlining, 3 values, and squint. That's really important. So before I share the image of what we're going to draw, does anyone have any questions? Is something not clear? I mean, I know it's in theory until we go to draw, but if you have any questions, you can ask me now either in the chat box or you can unmute yourself. Okay, I'm going to take that as no questions for now. So I'm going to share an image that we're going to work from. So this is just really simple. So this object is white, right? But it has white that's also in shadow. So I'm going to give us 5 minutes to work. And if you need more time, at 5 minutes, I'll ask if people need more time. Okay. So I'm going to set the timer and we'll give it a try. Okay, are you ready? And start. Okay, just 30 more seconds. Okay, and stop. Okay. Okay. So, I'd really like to hear what happened, what questions you have, how did it go, how did your drawing turn out? I can't stop drawing. I'm gonna stop. Okay. Does anyone want to share or ask any questions?
Hi, Kelly. This is Marcia. It seemed to take a long time to do it. I tried to draw an intentionally small box because there was a lot of dark in it, so it seemed like to take a long time to try to define it. It was interesting. I guess it definitely is soft.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Yes. Okay.
So I think I get what you're saying. Three values is still like a tough decision to make.
Yeah, it is. Right? Yeah, and so one thing is to make sure, like, fill all the spaces in so they're sort of flat and even. Here, I'll show you what I did. It's hard to see.
Okay.
So this is mine, and I just made sure, you know, even if it's not always clear where one thing stops and another starts, if you fill them in sort of as solid blocks of, they're not color, right, of gray or black or white, right, that starts to give the whole shape of the thing. That's really good, yeah. And try and avoid lines if possible. Okay, cool. Do you want to share, Suzanne? Can you unmute yourself? Or I
No
can
lines. No lines.
Wow, that's really good.
But we're
round.
sharpening our pencils.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna go through some grass for sure. That's really good. So, was it easier for you to do this, or was it challenging? I think you had written. It was hard to.
It's harder for me because I like it to be real.
Not really good.
I like it to be real.
Okay, and so what makes you think that this is as real? Your drawing seemed pretty three-dimensional to me. Uh-oh, hello?
Hello.
Okay, yeah, so what makes you... Oh, okay. So I was just wondering, what makes you think that this drawing, does it seem less three-dimensional? Is that what you mean when you say real?
Yeah, I mean, I think things that looks better when you look at it far away. When you look at it close up, it's just a bunch of smudges on a page.
Yeah. Have you ever seen paintings in a museum? It kind of looks like that too sometimes. Okay, yeah, so, right, it is really different way of approaching a drawing. I thought it looked really good. Thanks for sharing. Okay, Kelly, yeah, can every...
Oh, I'm sorry. I think
no,
it's a little bit like, it's a little like that negative space exercise to me. And I find it very frustrating not to be able to control a line.
Oh, you mean, yeah. So one way you can have more control is to use your eraser. Or you can go over lightly, like light gray on everything that's dark, and then slowly darken, which will define, right, the dark from the middle value. But it's definitely not going to be a precise kind of drawing. It's like a fuzzy, moody drawing. Not always, but for the most part. I mean, the thing is, you really don't have to, this is sort of how painting works, right? This is really pertinent to watercolor. But, you know, you could also do this exercise using like scribble lines, like we did in our mark making class. You don't have to use the side of your pencil, but I just wanted to get away from the idea of lines. If you think about it, no lines actually exist in space, right? See, I have my sketchbook here. So I represent where something stops and the next thing starts with a line. So, but that's not like a real thing that exists in the world. That's just a representation, right, of boundaries. So this is just another way to think about boundaries between things. Okay, anyone else? I'm talking too much. Okay. Hi, Joanne. Oh, let's see. I can't hear you. I'm going to try and okay, I've unmuted you. No, I have not.
Unmute
Can you
now.
unmute yourself?
Yeah, I just did. Can you see that?
Oh my God, that's gorgeous. Yes. So, did you enjoy this?
I did. It feels
like
I was doing scraper. I felt like I was scraper.
drawing this one. Yeah, that's wonderful. It has your darks are really nice and dark, which sort of brings it alive. It makes it very three-dimensional, the contrast. Beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah, I had a good, very
really
fun.
nice. Oh wait, I can't hear. Yeah, you like this. And are you a painter? Do you paint in watercolors or oils?
I used to before I became a graphic designer and a computer person 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to see. Cool. Thank you so much. Okay. Anyone else? I think these are really nice. Okay. So why don't we do another? We're going to do another one. I'm sorry. Let me just hit mute. We're going to do another one, and this time we're going to use a light object and a dark object together on the same light table with a dark background. So it's going to get a little more complicated. Right? And you just have to make choices about where do things sort of get lumped together. And one thing is, make sure that your dark is really dark. Like, don't be afraid of making a deep, rich dark with your pencil. Okay. So we'll, oh, and somebody asked about where to start, which is a really good question. Something that you can do, like I tend to start either, you see here how there's a really clear, hard, distinct line between light and dark. So you could even start here, right? Or you could even start with a mass of something like this is going to be a gray probably, or a bigger mass or shape of dark, right? So I would say, you know, if you start here on the edge, just put it, you know, on the left of your paper so that you'll have room to build out as you go. Another thing is your drawing could go totally wonky and not, you know, not be in proportion or make sense. That's totally fine, right? What we're studying are just shapes of light, dark, and middle value. Okay, so let's try again with 5 minutes. And at the end of 5 minutes, I'll stop and ask if you need more time. Okay, so let's start. We have about 30 more seconds.
Okay. So do you need more time? If so, can you just unmute yourself and let me know? Otherwise, if I don't hear anything, we'll stop here. Okay. Okay, great. So I'm really anxious to hear, how did this one go? And was it different? Was it easier this time because you were thinking more about it? You know, from the first exercise, was it challenging? What happened? I'll show you mine. I did a small one of, oops. So that was what I did.
Does anybody want to share? The cup made it much more complicated.
I thought it was easy.
Someone else thought it was easier. Okay. Is that Carol?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. Good. So why was this easier?
There was more contrast.
Yeah, there was, right? There was a nice dark object. So you found it easier to see because of the contrast. Okay, cool. Yeah, so one thing that's really important in these drawings is to really make a flat, even tone as much as you can. So I know it's hard to see on these cameras. So sometimes the shapes all run together, right? Like where the dark object then met the cast shadow on the table, that actually just becomes all one big shape. Also, there are no right answers, right? You can make different choices about what's dark and what's middle gray. There aren't always clear, it's not always clear. Diane said it's easier because it was the second one. I felt like I needed 4 values. Yeah, so that's a good point. Normally we would work with 5. I mean, most paintings, like master paintings, probably have no more than 7. Really, 7 values is kind of the maximum that maybe people with 9, but who work in a sort of limited value palette, right? Because you can create a really strong focal point and sense of light, especially where the dark and light meet. Oh, somebody said my audio is really bad. Okay. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah, someone says it's always hard to limit the number of values. Right, so, okay, now it's better. Great. Thank you for letting me know that. Sorry about that. Yeah, so limiting the number of values also forces you to really think about and make decisions, right? It can get a little more complicated the more values you have, but it's also complicated to really synthesize, right? Make it as simple as possible. Okay, does anyone else want to share or even just, you know, feedback on what this exercise was like for you?
Okay.
Hi, Michael. Wow, that's beautiful.
There you go.
Wow, that's really nice.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it perfectly. What did you
I
think
like
about trying to?
getting to experiment with not depending on lines so much. So that part was fun. Anyway.
And did you find it easier not to outline things, or was
Well, I
it
still
more challenging?
attempted a little to kind of get oriented with a spot here and a spot there, but yeah, it got easier the second time. It was more fun the second time because I knew what I was that I could take a chance, and it would turn out fine anyway.
Yeah, and it did.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike, I'll share mine too.
Kelly, here's another one.
Yes.
To see if I can.
Okay, let's see.
Whoops, there we go.
Wow.
But I
Beautiful.
like this size.
Very painterly.
Yeah, we enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
You enjoyed drawing this way. Yeah, I think your drawings are really, really nice. Hello. This is Nikki.
This is our first time joining you, but we both felt like,
great.
yeah. So we like this one better than the first one.
Okay, yeah, these are beautiful. The light is really nice in them. Yeah. So why did you like this one better than the first?
We just felt like we knew kind of where to start and what to do. The first one we felt a little lost to start, you know, and then it kind of came more so, but I don't know, learning, we were over that learning curve a little bit.
Yeah, great. So you have to dive in and after doing it a few times, have a sense of how to even approach it. Okay.
Right. Thank
That's
you.
really nice. And so have you drawn this way before with outline? Thank you.
Oh, no, we never have. We've never.
Okay.
Yeah, but we like it. We want to do it more.
Okay, great. Yeah, so this is something that you can really practice with. You can even copy, you know, other drawings that have been drawn this way, or, you know, anything that has pretty clear light and shadow is really good to practice with. Could we see your lamp for a little longer? Sorry, does that mean my drawings?
Yes,
Donna
it means your drawings
asked.
and the other students' drawings.
Okay, yeah, so sure. I'll also put them on Facebook so you can see them. This was the first one that I did with the paper towel. So I used two different kinds of, two different pencils. At first I used, for the middle gray, like a 2B pencil. And then for the dark, I used, I think, a 9B. And then the other one, the second one, and they're quite small, so you could do them quickly. I hope you're able to see. I know, you know, sharing on live video is not always ideal.
No, but I can see. Thank you.
One thing that's nice to look for are light shapes inside of dark, you know, larger dark areas. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Okay, does anyone else want to share? Okay. So thank you all very much. Let's see, I'm going to take, yeah, please, go ahead. Is somebody saying something?
Kelly, I just wanted to say it's really fun to see what people do, because we all have the same assignment and things come out so differently, and it's really great to see what other people are doing.
Yes, it's true. We can learn so much from each other, right? You know, when somebody does something that you didn't think of, you can totally steal it and, you know, try it yourself the next time. Then this is beautiful. Are you using charcoal? Yeah.
No, I'm
so
4B.
Beautiful. Wow. It has such a nice sense of light when you make the dark really dark. So did you enjoy this one more than the first?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because I agree with Nikki and Krista that said you kind of knew where to start from. Less timid, just dove right in.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Thank you. Jan. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Yes, really nice sense of light. What was your experience making this drawing?
Oops. It's very hard.
Okay, yeah, so be specific. Which part? What was the challenge?
The challenge was trying to figure out how to capture the shapes without drawing lines, and and still, try to make something approximating what the objects are for me anyway, and then how do you distinguish if there's two darks that are next to each other that you think are the darkest darks? How do you, how does that still capture the thing as distinct from the object or the shadow next to it? So it was quite challenging. The first one I did looks nothing like a roll of paper towels. So this one had a little more of the character to it, but it was very hard not to think without lines, I guess, or to see without lines.
Yeah, it hurts it's meant to hurt your brain a little bit.
Then success.
Also, right, because exactly. It is wreck your head slightly. Because one thing is really forcing you to look in a new way, and it's forcing you to do something that's no longer natural, which is, not draw outlines. But I just want to address quickly the thing about when two shadows start to blend together, like the shadow, for example, that's here on the dark object and then on the table. Well, if you make them all one block of the same value, how will you know, right, what's what? So maybe you won't, but I would assert that you will, because there's a rule with shadows that shadow follows form. All it means is, shadows follow the shape, right, of the thing. I'm like using my hand here. Here is not a good example, but a shadow follows the form. So what I mean is, on the round object, it will be going in one direction, and on the table where it's the cast shadow, it will be flat. So even though they blend into one, they're two different planes, right? One was upright and one was a flat plane. So, but this is also a good way to start training yourself in drawing, is that we don't always have to explain everything in drawing. Your drawings don't always have to be clear exactly what's happening, right? This is like, we have this tendency, we want to make all the details. We want to describe everything that's happening. But I promise you, all your favorite books and films do not tell you all the dirty details of what's happening, right? They let your mind and your imagination fill in the blanks. So one thing that's good to train yourself in drawing is letting some things, like maybe